Okay, hi everybody, welcome back to my channel, Her Magnetism. Today we're going to do it on Clavicular. He is something. I personally like him, even though he's really controversial and people hate him. But yeah, today we're going to talk about the psychology of his aura, of Clavicular. His real name is Brendan Peters. He's currently 19 years old, born December 17, 2005. He began injecting himself with testosterone supplements at the age of 14, and he became popular online by 2025. On surface level, people know him as looks maxing influencer, someone obsessed with optimizing physical appearance and treating attractiveness as if it were from a form of power.
Looks maxing is the furthest extent that you could take self-improvement, right? So we've seen a lot of, different forms of that over the years, mostly with bodybuilding. I would say was the main one for a while for men, from about 2010 up until 2020. And then it sort of shifted into looks maxing. That kind of crept into the space from different niche, forums, especially those of PSL, which was just three
pumpkin spice latte, obviously.
No, just three looks maxing forums. So that influence kind of crept in, and it's very obvious that the face is more important than the physique. So people were doing the self-improvement, and it wasn't really getting them the results that they needed. So that's why the further step needed to be taken to sort of go about improving upon your entire life.
So there are all these bodybuilding forums, and you say, well, what about this phrase, the butter face? But you hear about the butt, you never hear about butter body. So you draw the conclusion from that hey, you guys are all working out to build up your bodies, but the face is more important to physical attractiveness.
Absolutely.
So that,
and also on big podcasts like the Jack Neal, and I don't remember the other ones, but he became famous really quick. I remember seeing him like 4 months ago on my feed, and I was so interested by him. I was like, whoa. Like, I love his ideology that beauty is really something that is gonna make your life even more easier. I completely agree, and I think that we all agree to it subconsciously. Some people might be like, oh, don't be shallow, don't be superficial, but let's be real. People are going to be quicker to help a beautiful woman that takes care of herself than a fat, disgusting woman that stinks. People are just going to be quicker to help the other one. And I'm not saying this to be fake, superficial. I'm just saying this because this is the truth. If you don't agree with it, I don't care. He has been described as extremely controversial, particularly for practices such as facial bone smashing.
Explain to me the hammer to the cheek. What the hell is that?
That's bone smashing, and that is based off a principle called Wolff's Law. And basically what that means is when you create trauma to a bone, it actually grows back stronger, right? And the idea behind that is you're gonna make them bigger, more projected, and give your face a little bit more angularity.
And allegedly using crystal meth to stay lean. So that's really his ideology and his mindset. I do agree with him, but it is to a certain extent, because Clavicular, he's gonna go for drugs, he's gonna go for meds, he's gonna do whatever it takes to look attractive. And then taking care of your skin, he's literally like, he has shortcuts. He did a lot of research and he knows exactly how to take care of his skin to look better.
what drugs do you take in a day?
I'm taking testosterone every single day. I take minoxidil for my hair. I take dutasteride for my hair. I take 7.5 milligrams of Accutane a day. I use crystal meth as a stimulant and Tolene Max. It's much more mild than Adderall, actually, and I'm pretty much using meth for hollow cheeks.
But if it came to, like, if he needs to take the drugs to get there, he's gonna do it. So does he really care about his health? I don't know. We could debate about that. I think he does care to his health for a certain extent, but at the same time, if he needs to take the drugs for a period of time, even though it's gonna be damaging for his health, he might do it. That's really his mindset and ideology. I honestly respect that for him, because he's being his true self. He's sharing what he thinks is good and powerful, even though a lot of people completely disagree with him. So his content often revolves around the metrics of attractiveness, jawline, bone symmetry, extreme self-improvement routines, self-defined, ascension. So he loves to use the term ascending. Ascending is just looking way hotter than you, way better than you. And then you have mogging, also the same. If you take a picture with like 2, 3 of your friends and you look hotter, you mugged all of them because you look hotter than all of them. So this is really his language and how he perceives himself. So Clav is also controversial because he loves to say the N-word. For him, it's freedom of expression. If he wants to say it, he's gonna say it, even though people feel hurt or are hurt by it. I personally, I want to be honest. Before, when I heard him say it, it really triggered me. I was like, yo, like, don't do this. Like, you don't have to do this, right? But the more he says it, the more I just don't care, because my mindset is I refuse to let a word define me. Even though white people just say it freely like that, I personally rather just be above it and focus on my life than being like, why are you saying this? You shouldn't be saying this. And then cry and then trying to hurt them. Like, I don't care. I have way other stuff to do. I have better stuff to do. I'm just focused on my life. If they want to say it, fucking say it. Just get the fuck away from me. And that's it. Like, I refuse to be offended. I refuse to play the victim card because of that word. I know the history behind it is really intense, and I know it, I understand it, but I refuse to let a word put me off or like make me react. I just refuse it. I have other things to do. That's my mindset. If you don't agree, I don't care. So yeah, he is controversial because of that. There's also this situation where Clavicular was driving and he ran over this crazy fan being obsessed with him.
Start driving with this guy in the car. Drive.
Oh my god! You probably just ran him over. Oh my god.
Is he dead?
I don't know.
And yeah, he went to the hospital, the fan. Thank God he didn't die. But I remember that time I was like, huh. I really thought he was going to prison, but he was in Florida. And I think I know that in Florida the rules are not as strict as elsewhere. So thankfully he is fine. And he was also out with Nick Fuentes, Nico, and I think only 3 of them. And then Myron joined in and they went to the club. They listened to the song of Kanye West, the song that is banned everywhere. They listened to that song, they were singing it and at the club, and all of that really amplified his influence because more people heard about him because of this. So yeah, surprisingly, he's not canceled. I genuinely feel like he does not believe in cancellation. And I completely agree with that. The only way you can really get canceled is if you cancel yourself or if you do some of the most crazy and fucked up shit ever, like Jeffrey Epstein. Like, if you go there, then I just rather, yeah, I don't think there's a way out of it. But if you're just being your true self, even if it's a bit controversial, even if it's a bit stepping on other people's toes, if you truly believe that you won't get canceled because of it, then you won't. Okay, now that I've made a small introduction on Clavicular, I want to go deeper into what makes him magnetic, his psychology behind his aura, and also if you truly observe him, he has a lot of influence. Like, and people here saying that, no, he doesn't. Yeah, you're lying. You're lying to yourself. He has a lot of influence, and that's going to be another chapter because it's really deeper than magnetism. So first here we have physical devotion as power. His appearance is not random genetics. It is intention ritualized. When someone obsessively refines their body, it signals discipline, sacrifice, and self-control. Humans read that as dominance because it demonstrates mastery over impulse and control. He treats his body like a project, not an accident. Most people here, they don't care about their bodies. They just want to be comfortable. They love eating junk food. They love not working out. They love hurting themselves. They just don't care. That's why there's a lot of average people. But when you truly treat your body like a temple and you eat the right food, you work out, you take care of it, you're just going to radiate differently. In Clavicular's case, he treats his body like a temple, but don't forget he also used a lot of drugs, ketamine, crystal meth, and all of that. So is he right? But he's not using those drugs to be an addict and just for fun. He's using them for purpose, to lean max, to look hotter. So to each our own. Having a standard implies hierarchy. It says, I hold myself to something higher. That alone elevates perspective. And at first, it is so uncomfortable, like working out, eating healthier and all, but there's a threshold where once you go over it, it's super easy working out. It's just a habit. And eating fast food and being lazy for you, it feels uncomfortable. It doesn't feel good. It feels horrible. If you want to have this type of magnetism of whatever you value, refine it visibly: style, voice, fitness, mind. When people see care, they feel authority. Self-respect radiates before you speak. So number 2, we have absence of visible hesitation. Most people negotiate with themselves in real time. You can see it in their eyes. He does not present that. People follow decisiveness more than correctness. So being real and not contradiction yourself. Like I said in my other videos, being coherent is thinking one way, acting the same way, behaving the same way, and taking action the same way. Like everything is literally the same for every aspect of your life. You're not thinking, hey, I'm the hottest woman ever, and then you act like you're not the hottest woman ever, and then you believe that, oh, I'm average just like everybody else. You're just not being coherent. You're just lying to yourself. But the hottest woman would know she's hot. She would act like she's hot. She would take action. So eat healthier, go to the gym. Everything is in alignment. So most people are internally negotiating while they are externally speaking. You can see it in microaggression. That is the nervous system asking, is this safe? Am I accepted? Should I adjust? When someone is visibly calculating approval in real time, the subconscious of the audience register uncertainty. And we don't like it. We don't like it, we don't trust it, and we feel repulsed by it. Uncertainty lowers perceived status. Why? Because the nervous system constantly scans for stability. The one who appears internally settled is read as safer, stronger, and more anchored. He does not present visible negotiation. So in Clavicular's case, he is just so honest and real, and he's not contradicting himself. Maybe sometimes he is, but it's not as much as the average people that loves to contradict itself all the time.
Well-written character, okay? You think this shit is a fucking joke? We live in one of the worst societies ever throughout the entire history of the world. You have to be in the top percentile to even be looked at with a shred of romance, with a shred of attraction by women in this day and age. So it is quite brutal. You think that I'm doing this shit as a fucking form of entertainment when I have to stay up for 3 days in a row, right? Trying to suppress my appetite and get hollow cheeks, right? Is that supposed to entertain you? I can't even talk to people without some sort of fucking, benzos. I need fucking alprazolam just to be able to have a conversation like a normal person. I'm willing to do whatever it takes.
If you want to be like that, remove micro apologies, speak slower, finish sentences fully, stand behind your perspective without softening to be liked. When what you think, what you feel, and what you say are aligned, you are not seeking permission while expressing it. That is when presence sharpens. Being real is step 1, but being internally resolved is step 2, because just being real is not enough. Some people are real, but they're not coherent with themselves. If you are real, but still asking the room to approve your reality, your energy disperses. If you are real and internally anchored, your energy condenses. Magnetism is condensed energy. So yes, be real, but be more than that. Be rooted in what you are saying, not performing it, not forcing it, not adjusting it mid-sentence to protect yourself. In Clavicular's case, when he talks, he doesn't care if you're gonna hate on him, if people are gonna react bad or good. He is just saying how he feels like it.
Clav.
All right, I have several questions I want to ask you today.
Sure.
How many genders are there?
2 genders,
What are they?
male and female.
What about people that say there's like 25 different types?
What about them?
Doesn't matter.
I could give a shit what they say.
Awesome. And should fat people have to pay for 2 plane tickets?
Yeah, I mean, I certainly wouldn't want someone spilling over into my side of the plane, that's for sure.
What about people that say that's fat phobic?
Well, I wouldn't know about that.
No.
and he's sticking to it. He's not going to change his answer. He's not going to change his sentence to fit in. He doesn't care. If he feels that way, he's going to stay that way. So for number 3, we have polarization over approval. Most people try to blend in, try to soften themselves to avoid conflict or judgment. That creates neutrality. Neutrality feels safe, but it is invincible. It has no weight in the field. People notice little. Influence struggles to grow because the nervous system is not stimulated. Clavicular does the complete opposite. He generates reaction. Reaction is energy. When someone feels strongly about you, positively or negatively, their nervous system is activated. Activation creates charge. Charge draws attention. Attention is the seed of attachment. The more people are activated, the more they unconsciously orbit around your field. Clavicular, he says the N-word, his ideology on attractiveness and like using some types of drugs to get there, it's kind of like controversial. People are like, are you crazy? So they react to him, even if it's positively or negatively, they don't care, they're gonna react. So when you always react to what Clavicular is doing or saying or acting, you get pulled into his field, and that creates magnetism because you're just more interested.
I would say I'm extremely controversial because of some of the language that I use on my streams. It's a lot of very unfiltered content because you put anyone on a camera for 10 hours in a row, it's very hard for them to sort of put up a character or put on a show. And that's kind of how I talk off camera. I don't really try to censor myself. So I'm just like, I'm just going to commit to this and be as authentic as possible with my content. And that just makes it easier.
Even if you completely disagree with him, you're just more interested to know, why are you like this? Why are you acting this way? Who are you? What are you doing? Why aren't you like everybody else? So you're asking questions yourself. Some people are not even going to ask questions. They're just going to automatically react to him negatively. Oh, you're dumb. You're stupid. You're an incel. Nah. Like, they're just going to react and insult him, but he doesn't care. He couldn't care less. And that's how he's more magnetic, because he's interesting. He's not like everybody else. He stands out of the crowd, and just seeing him on the internet being himself, it's like, I would say it's refreshing, but at the same time, for some people it's not. For some people it's like, who are you? Like, how do you have that much audacity to be your true self? And I don't. So don't try to blend in the crowd. Be your true self, but to get there, you need to be alone with yourself, isolate yourself, get to know who you are and your mission here. Clavicular, he was reading about beauty when he was younger. He did a lot of research, and also when he got kicked out of university, he just pursued his passion, his mission here to talk about beauty. We all know subconsciously that beauty is really important, but he was able to truly say it in a way that's authentic, in a way that's unapologetically himself. And that's how he is where he is today. So if you want to implement that, refine your perspective, but do not dilute it. Speak with clarity, conviction, and intention. Express your desires, boundaries, and opinions with weight, not aggression. Your goal is not to be liked, it is to be recognized. Recognition comes from intensity, not consensus. You're not here to ask permission, you're here to be yourself, and that is what Clavicular is doing. He is being himself. Even though people are like, I don't want you to be yourself, he doesn't care. He's still going to be himself. Number 4, we have identity fixation. Clavicular is real. He knows who he is. His identity is clear. He knows who he is. He knows what he stands for. He knows what he likes, and he knows what he doesn't like. And he acts from his core self. You have to act from your core self. But like I said, you need to get to learn yourself. It's not possible to act from your core self if you have no idea who you are and what your mission here is on earth. It's literally impossible, because when you're not acting from your core self, you're following others, you're following trends, you're unstable, you change all the time. There's no core self. It's not clear who you are and what you stand for. And we see it a lot on the internet. People like that, they're not really authentic. They're just following, but like showing you who they're following. And it's not attractive, it's not magnetic, it's a bit repulsive because you've seen it before. So every time you shift who you are to fit a trend, a reaction, or other people's expectation, your energy fragments. You become a reflection of external currents instead of an origin point. Your field loses weight, People subconsciously sense it. You're movable, negotiable, not anchored. Clavicular is super anchored in who he is, and you're never confused on who he is. You just know it, and either you like it or you don't like it. Being your true self isn't just honesty, it's stability. It's repetition. It's consistency in identity so that reality bends around the state you maintain. Everything else is just noise. So clavicular, if somebody's like, oh, you should do this or you should be this, if he personally feels like, no, I don't want to do it, he's going to tell you, hey, I don't want to do it. Move on, like, get away from me. But if somebody has an opportunity for him and it resonates with him, it feels good. It feels like, oh my God, I should totally do it. He's going to do it because it reflects his core self. And somebody who is not like that, who is unstable, that person is more likely going to say yes to everything, even when it feels like it's wrong or it's not who he is. He's going to say yes to it just because it's an opportunity. But when you're your true self, you know what matters and you know what doesn't matter. If you want to implement, spend some time alone, go to what makes you feel alive. It could be reading, it could be playing tennis, it could be being a rapper, it could be creating music, beats, it could be anything. Beauty, lifting weight, there's infinite ways. In my case here, it's magnetism and aura. I love the psychology behind what makes a person stand out. I love it. I love reading books about it. I love decoding people. That's literally my passion. That's why I'm making those videos, because I just love the psychology behind it so much. And once you know your mission and your passion, you just share it with people. You share it, you share it. Maybe it's being a good doctor. Who knows? Okay, there's infinite ways, but know your mission, act on it daily, and that's how you're going to get there. For number 5, we have intensity over perfection. Influence does not always require deep coherence. Sometimes it requires dominant intensity, sustained long enough to be recognized. Clavicular projects pursuit of greatness, obsession with optimization, refusal to be average. He refused to be average. He just can't, and he won't, even if the whole world is like, but you have to know. Like, he's like, fuck everybody. I want to do this, and I'm going to be the greatest at it, and you're going to watch me. Even if the whole world is like, but I don't believe in it. It's impossible. How? He doesn't care. He's going to find a way. And here he is today. That repetition imprints. But here is the distinction. Intensity attracts, coherence sustains. If someone's dominant state is clarity, clarity spreads. If it is tension, masked as certainty, that spreads too. People feel the texture. So the underlying principle here is that energy communicates faster than words. Intensity makes people notice. Coherence makes them stay, trust, and orbit your feel. That's why magnetism is about how you carry yourself and not what you say. Because it's easy. We can lie every day. I can come here and lie to you every day, and everything I say doesn't resonate with how I feel and how I act. And you're going to sense it because 95% of language is body language. It's not what we say, because we can all lie easily. In Clavicular's case, he talks, but he also is coherent. He talks, he acts the same way, and he feels the same way. That's why it resonates more. And he also used intensity to talk. He is so passionate about his work and about what he does. You can see it. Maybe not streaming, because he did say in a lot of clips that he is sick of streaming. But when he talks about attractiveness and looks and all of that, you can see that there's a lot of passion and a lot of intensity behind it.
Because I can tell you, when you are not attractive, your life is hell. I've experienced it. I'm sure a lot of people have experienced it that are watching this right now. And then when you start to get a little bit of good looks, everything changes. It's like a switch flips in your life. It's like you're living an entire new, universe. You're living in a new universe overnight if you ascend. So it makes no sense, all this fear mongering, all this shit, okay? So even if everything goes wrong for me, use me as an example. At least I gave something my own. At least I tried to fix this fucked up situation that is the society in 2025.
That's why we are so drawn to it. But somebody that talks to you and they're dead and they feel like they don't even want to be there, you subconsciously feel it, and you also don't want to be there with them. So Use intensity to your advantage. That's why you have to work on your mission. I honestly feel like the more I'm doing the aura work, I get to understand that what makes you have a lot of aura is you working on your mission every day. Because you're being your true self, you're working on your passion, you're working on whatever it is that makes you happy, and you share with millions of people. Maybe in some cases sharing it is not necessary, we're all different, but just you taking consistent action and just doing the thing you love and finding a way to make money off of it, you have a lot of aura. Look at Kav. If he would say like, hey, I want to talk about beauty and make money off of it, a lot of people would have been like, yeah, but maybe you should go to school and then have a diploma, and then maybe you can do it as a side gig. That's the how the average people think. They're so in the 9 to 5 mindset of like, oh, but you have to go to school first, and then maybe you have to climb the ladder, and then maybe you can do your small work on the side. But when you follow your mission and your passion, God is going to find ways for you to make everything happen. So you also have the money, you can also take care of yourself, and even more doors are open for you. So, how to implement, stabilize your dominant state, ask yourself what energy you return to most often. That is the energy that will multiply through your audience. This is really all about your identity. And when you know that you're magnetic, you have aura, you have influence, you know it, and you act that way, it's gonna happen eventually. Clavicular knew before all of his fame that he was gonna be famous and that he was gonna make money and have a lot of opportunities. He knew it before, even when he had 0 followers. Now look at him today. For number 6, we have narrative control. This is my favorite aspect of him. Humans are wired for story. We do not just respond to information, we respond to patterns, arc, and meaning. Random posts, no matter how clever or intense, really leave a lasting imprint. So in Clavicular's case, he creates a storyline around himself, transformation, controversy, hierarchy, spectacle. Each moment is a beat in a larger narrative. When someone sees continuity, evolution, and purpose in a person's life, the nervous system unconsciously invests. You are no longer just a face or a post, you are the main character of a journey. So, main characters generate gravity because people attach to movement and meaning. They want to witness, anticipate, and feel the progression. The energy is not just a single post, it is a trajectory, the arc, the story that unfolds over the time. What I love about Clav is that I saw him literally grow. Like 4 months ago, he was just started on a podcast about his mindset and his ideology. Then I saw his face where people were like asking, oh, can you rate me? Can you rate me? And then you saw him getting bigger. He then was chilling with Aiden Ross. So I think we just saw him like hanging out with like bigger and bigger person. Then it was like Sneeko, it was Nick Fuentes. And then we see at fashion events, we see him when he was running over the guy. And when he was at the club saying the Kanye West song, like we saw so many moments of him being real and being himself. And it's like seeing a person like unfolding. It's nice to see somebody being more successful and more successful. He even said in another interview that like now all the people he grew up watching are in his DMs on Instagram, asking him for advice, asking him for beauty advice, and all of that. So you see how he's constantly growing, getting bigger. And it's so beautiful to see because as human, I love the idea that I can change and become even hotter, even richer, even smarter than who I am today. And that's why it resonates. That's why it's amazing to see. Maybe we're all different. Maybe you don't like it, but I personally respect that. And I love watching people like obtaining more, leveling up every time you see them. I love that mindset. I love it. And it's just amazing to see. It's super magnetic and it's all about your mission. I keep repeating because it's literally a different frequency. When you're out here chasing, not chasing, but like acting towards your mission every day, you're on a different frequency. You have automatic aura, you have automatic magnetism. Maybe not influence for all of us, but yeah, for most people you have influence. You just act in a different way, completely different way. I think I'll make a separate video on why acting on your mission just it gives you everything. People are gonna misunderstand you. People are gonna call you names, call you crazy, delusional. people are going to laugh at you. So it's not necessarily easy, but once you're up there and you have so much result, people can't ignore it. They can't. They're all here like, yeah, I know that person. Yeah, I know it. I know them. So work on your mission. And last, we have influence versus magnetism. So Clavicular, in his case, he has a lot of influence, like a lot.
The girls were telling me last night, they were like, they said to me, you have no idea like how much influence you have over people. Like every single person is looks maxing. Like, all the girls want to looks max. All the guys like talk about you every day. And I was like, okay, well, like wow, like I knew I was like a popular public figure, but I didn't know people were taking my stuff so seriously and being so influenced by it. And I was like, okay, well, that's pretty cool. You know, because I do think looks maxing is hugely a net positive.
Also on X, I think on TikTok it's a bit different, but on X he has a lot of influence. And I want to tell you like the difference on magnetism and influence, because you can have a lot of magnetism but not a lot of influence. But I do feel like to have influence you need to have magnetism. So magnetism and influence are related, but they're not the same. Magnetism is felt, it's emotional, aesthetic, energetic. People are drawn to you because they resonate with your frequency. Influence is directional, it moves mind, shapes interpretation, and creates hierarchy. People follow you because they recognize your altitude, insight, or clarity. One archetype moves people because they feel seen, another moves people because they feel guided. Both are powerful, just different texture. The key here is that influence is not about shock, controversy, loudness. It's all about your identity. I've always talked about this, but if you know before that you are super influential, you're super magnetic, the world is going to reflect it. But you have to believe it in your mind first. The average people feel like, oh, we have to first see the facts and then I can do what I have to do. But life does not work like that. If you're broke and you're always looking at the facts, you're always going to stay broke all your life. If you want to be wealthy and rich, you have to first believe that you're rich and wealthy before even seeing that money. This is how life works. So present yourself as someone who sees what others do not. I also want to add that for influence, I also believe it's about positioning. Clavicular, he is positioned in a way that he has a lot of influence because he can see how life works, like attractiveness, his power, blah, blah, blah. And he did his own research, he followed his mission. He is in a position where he can guide everybody. Hey, you should do this, you should do that, you should stop doing this, no, 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 no. So when he is in that position, we see him as a teacher, somebody that can guide us. So that's why he has a lot of influence because of how he's positioned. But if you compare Clavicular to Drake, do you think that Drake and Clavicular has the same influence? I believe that they don't have the same influence. I think Drake has a different type of influence where it's emotional. Drake, when you listen to his music, it's all about emotions, being rich, having desires, relationships. It's all about that. So yeah, positioning is different. Like Drake is more influential when it comes to music and the emotions behind it, the vibe, the culture. But Clav is more influential with the things he says. He might say, oh, if you want to lose weight, you should do this. And a lot of people would follow what he says. I'm not saying everybody, but a lot of people would. And if you want to implement that, decide the type of influence you want: emotional, intellectual, aesthetic, spiritual, or a fusion. Assume your archetype fully and consistently, and return to your dominant state daily. Let the world respond naturally. Influence is less about what you say and more about who you are consistently. So this is my video on Clavicular. I did talk a bit less about him and more about like the psychology behind it. But yeah, he is magnetic. He has a lot of aura. And you could also become the version of yourself that has a lot of aura. You deserve to. It's easy. It's easy, but it's like a way of being. There's a lot of things that you're currently doing that removes you aura. And you have to stop doing them and change what you're doing instead. So welcome to my channel. My name is Susie, and that's it.